National Geographic explorer Shabana Bazig Rasig is an amazing person. She believes that girls should have the same chances as boys. They should be able to go to college and have good jobs and become leaders of their country, just like men.
But some things are the same in space. The astronauts get up in the morning and they brush their teeth.
My favorite town is called Bodrum. My mum is from Bodrum. It's beautiful.
Wow, it is beautiful.
It is next to the Aegean Sea. Look at the water. It's so blue.
Phonemic awareness, I hear words. Phonetics, I express words. Vocabulary, I know words. Reading comprehension, I know what it means. Literacy, I can read a book. These are all skills that Highlights Library develops by promoting children's confidence and love of reading and writing in English. Highlights Library is a multifunctional reading platform offered by Highlights in alliance with University of Dayton Publishing, with more than 2,000 stories and ebooks for different ages, interests, and English levels. Kids have fun and are happier when they use their innate creativity, curiosity, and imagination for learning. That's why the Highlights Library's learning experience is so fulfilling. The platform includes audios, evaluations. Highlights Library promotes social-emotional skills such as friendship, trust, honesty, responsibility, resilience, and empathy. Known for being very easy to use, friendly with children and adults. In addition to being able to use it from any device and from anywhere, Highlights Library is the best ally for English teaching through reading. What are you waiting for?
understanding of the main idea, develops reading strategies, and teaches valuable critical thinking skills. The TED Talk pages at the end of the unit use carefully selected segments of the TED Talk to reinforce vocabulary, practice listening comprehension, and apply critical thinking skills. Using TED speakers as models, presentation skills sections guide learners to watch and know best practices speakers use to deliver their ideas. This montage features a series of TED speakers effectively using visuals. The last page consolidates the language and ideas of the unit through a collaborative, communicative task and a controlled writing activity. After every 3 units, presentation pages review the presentation skills presented in the previous units and guide learners to apply those skills as they create and deliver their own presentations. Keynote inspires learners to communicate ideas powerfully in English. For more information, visit ngl.cengage.com/keynote.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay.
Morning.
Thank you for coming. For every participants, currently we are from Pinnacle Alfa Edukasi. We are greeting all of you, and we appreciate that you are able to come to this webinar between collaboration between Pinnacle Alfa Edukasi and also National Geographic Learning. This morning, more than 100 people already registered from Sabang to Merauke. So there are some people from Papua, some people from Kalimantan, Maluku, and a lot of people from Sumatra and Java Island. And of course, today we also have our main speaker, which is Will. We've just introduced the profile to you previously. So we are here to prepare, teach, and connect for English online teaching. So hopefully it will help all of the teachers across the Indonesia to be able to teach English during this pandemic time. So hopefully through this session, we are going to get a lot of knowledge, insights, and also some best practices that the speaker will share to us. So without any further ado, I welcome Will.
Thank you very much, Arif. Thank you for that nice introduction, and welcome to everyone who has joined us today. So thank you very much for joining. It's great to see you. Can I just ask you a favor before we start? So I'm looking at the screen. I can see lots of names, but I can't see many actual faces. So can you just if you can you turn on your video just for a few seconds, just so I can, that's better, right? So I can see a few faces here. Okay, lovely. Hi, Rika. Hi, Mias, Francisca. Okay, Get, Joshua, Kitty, Liana. Okay, I can see a lot of people here. So yeah, just I want everyone to give me a nice smile and a nice wave. Okay, that's really nice. Okay, thank you very much for doing that. This helps me to feel a bit more connected to you, so I don't just feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, so thank you for doing that. You don't have to keep your video on for the whole session. You can if you like, but you can turn it off. It might help with your bandwidth if you turn it off, but thank you for turning that on so I can see you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so we can get going. Okay, I'm going to unmute myself. Okay, as Arif already mentioned, yeah, it's lovely to be here for this collaboration event between Pinnacle Alfa Edukasi and National Geographic Learning. My name is Will Laschet. I am the Teacher Trainer Asia for National Geographic Learning. I have been working in education in ELT and specifically in Asia since 2001. So for a long time now. I don't even know how many years that is, but I've been working in education for a long time. So I hope to share some of my experience with you today. Okay, so yeah, the session today, Prepare, Teach, Connect. Okay, teaching English online with digital components. I'm just going to move some of my boxes out of the way. Okay, so as you all know, there has been a huge effort made by teachers and institutions all over the world, myself included, yourselves included, to get online. It's all happened very fast, and as you know, it hasn't been easy. So the internet is full of apps and games and websites for making lessons more interactive and engaging. And I've used some of those, and while there is definitely a place for these, I think that the key to an engaging and interactive online lesson remains the same. It still revolves around great content and effective delivery. But having said that, today we are going to look at some simple ideas, tips, strategies, and components, digital components, which will make teaching online more effective. So that's the aim of today's session. So before we start, okay, we're going to do a couple of polls. So yeah, as we do the poll today, I'm hoping that we can use the annotation tools. Yeah, you should be able to see on your toolbar, you should see this little pencil annotate tool. And if you click on that, you will then see another menu bar comes up, and you will see stamp and draw. So yeah, I would just like you to just click on one of those. I can see a couple of you. I can see some hearts and stars coming up. That's great. So yeah, just make sure you can get one of those and just have a little practice on the screen. Here is the first poll question. So I'm going to put it up here. The question is, how would you describe your experience of teaching online? So I want to get you know, an idea of how you feel about teaching online. So you can see the questions here. You can annotate on there if you like. So you can click on which one of those you feel is closest to your feeling. And as you're doing that, I'm actually going to launch. I'm going to launch this box, this poll box. So I want you to also answer in the poll box, because that way I can actually see how many of you are voting. Yeah, so how would you describe your experience of teaching online? We've got, I love it, it's great, it's good sometimes, it's not so good, I hate it, and I have never taught online. So if I can encourage as many of you as possible to use the poll box and just click on the one which is closest to how you feel. So at the moment, I've got almost half of you have voted, so I'll just give you a few more seconds. Okay, we're up to 53%, 55, 56. Okay, and I'm going to end the polling, okay, and we're going to have a look at what you said. So I'm going to share the results. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so let's have a look at what it says. We've got 59% of you have said that it is good sometimes. Okay, there are pros and cons. And up at the top, we've got 13% of you love it, 15% think it's great. And this is very good. This is very encouraging. So we've only got a few of you, just 6% hate it, and 7% think it's not so good. So most of you have had a positive experience of teaching online. So that's really nice to see. So and we can see that, yeah, 28, almost a third of you really like it, and the majority, almost 60%, think it's good. Sometimes there are pros and cons. And I think that's probably roughly where I am as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Great, so thank you very much for that. Okay, we're just going to move on. Thank you, Kitty, for putting the scores up there. That's perfect. And we're just going to move on now to the next slide. Okay, we have another poll. So I'm just going to clear those annotations there. And I'm going to launch my second poll question. Okay, it's just taking a few seconds. Okay, you should be able to see the second poll up on the screen now. So I just want to see, how do you feel about the benefits of teaching online? And this, you can choose, it's multiple choice. You can choose as many as you like. So if you think 3 or 4 of these are good, you can click as many of these as you like. So are there benefits for students? Are there benefits for teachers? I'm sorry, the second one here, there are a lot of benefits for teachers. Okay, the second one in the box should be benefits for teachers. I'm sorry, I made a mistake there when I was typing that in. We've got drawbacks for students, drawback for teachers. We've got a question about flexibility. Students learn more online, or students learn more in the classroom. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few more seconds. Remember, this second choice here, the second one down, should be there are a lot of benefits for teachers. Okay, as it says on the slide. Okay, so we've got about 60% of you have voted now. Okay, so I'm going to reveal the answers. And let's see what we thought. So we can see here, yeah, so some interesting questions, some interesting answers. We've got 21% think that there are a lot of benefits for students. 30% have put there are a lot of benefits for teachers. 18%, so it's almost the same. So drawbacks for students is almost the same as benefits. So we've obviously got, you know, a kind of mixed opinion about how useful or how beneficial this is, teaching online. A few of you have put there are a lot of drawbacks for teachers, only 10%. And the most popular answer here is there's more flexibility when teaching online. And I think that's absolutely true. We have a lot of choices But obviously, the issue with teaching online is we need to make sure that we're using these choices effectively. Some of you, 15% have put students learn more online, and 39% have put students learn more in the classroom. So this is roughly what I expected, but I am interested to see that 15% of you actually think that learners learn more online. So, you know, I think as we get more practice as teachers, we can definitely use those benefits to encourage more learning. So yeah, we can see a mixed result here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the results. Thank you, Kitty, again for putting the data up on the screen there. Okay, so yeah, we just talked about benefits, okay, and I've got a quote here from a teacher, Jamie Johnson: "Online teaching opens up new levels of creativity and opportunity." So however challenging we may find teaching online, although most of you said that you've had a good experience, you know, we have to remember that this is an opportunity to try something new, and we have to remember it is something that will probably feature more in learners' lives from now on. You know, as we progress through time, online teaching will become more common rather than less. So by focusing on the benefits that technology and the internet bring, you know, we can reach new levels of creativity. We can have more freedom to do what we want. But we need to be careful about how we use the technology, and we need to ask ourselves if the content is really benefiting the students. At the same time, we need to remember that content remains the key to learning. So technology is the tool which is helping us achieve our goal, okay, which is delivering the content and letting students learn. So moving on, I want to talk about something that will definitely benefit your students, but can be more difficult to achieve online. So we should be able to see up on the screen here, we have a sort of rainbow. And I just revealed it by accident, but what is it? So this is it's the rapport rainbow. But what is rapport? So I'm going to ask you, please, in the chat box, I would like you just to type in any words or phrases that you associate with the word rapport. So what does it mean to you? If I say it's important, especially important online, to build rapport with your students, what do we mean? So Annabelle, thank you, Annabelle. You've put in a relationship. That's great. Francisca's said connection. RD has said communication. Great. So relationship, connection, communication. So these are all really great ideas. Yeah, so, and you're absolutely right. So rapport is about a bond. It's about interaction. It is about creating an atmosphere and a feeling of being comfortable so that everyone is harmonious in the relationship, and that everyone is in a positive environment to work in. So this is easier when we are in the classroom because you can see everyone. It's more difficult when we're online. So I'm going to ask you now, what are some things that we can do to help build rapport in an online environment? So what can we do as a teacher? How can we create this strong sense of rapport with our students? So do we have any ideas which you can put into the chat box? We've got have a good communication. Okay, anything else that we can do to establish this rapport? Kitty says use interaction. Yeah, so interaction in your lessons, open communication, use creativity, give feedback. Okay, listening. Francisca said listening. Eunice said feedback. Yosua says increase students' efficacy to learn. Hatati says eye contact. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, so that involves like having the cameras on so we can see them. Use interactive apps. Okay, so interactivity. Kitty said that homework or something for students to do after the lesson. Okay, so connecting to the material. Mention the students' names, Monica. And Monica, as you can see, that's something that I'm doing right now. As I'm reading out the comments, I'm trying to use the names as well. Okay, so let's have a look at what I've put down here. So I've put for number one, I think the first thing about rapport, especially online, it's obvious, but it's about being friendly. So this includes things like smiling, making eye contact, okay, looking at the students. It you know, it's so important that we come with a friendly, you know, try and establish that friendly relationship so that students feel comfortable. Okay, second, we've got here, keep the cameras on. I asked you to do that earlier on. And as I said at the time, it just helps me to feel more connected to you because I can see you. And the students will feel that as well. If I turn off my camera now and you can't see me and I'm just a voice, you know, we lose that bit of connection. So it's a good idea, as long as your connection is good enough and the class is not too big, we can have the cameras on, and then, you know, you can establish that relationship. I've put here, use your voice. And I think, especially online, the voice becomes extremely important because although we can see through the camera, it's very small, but the voice is our main tool to connect with our students. So we need to use our voice, we need to be clear, we need to be careful in what we say, but we also, with the tone that we're using and the speed, the pace that we're using, you know, we want to make sure that we're speaking clearly and loudly, but gently. We're not shouting. Through your voice, you can really express your personality, and that is one way that we're going to connect with our students, with personality. We need to get to know our students, so we need to encourage personalization activities. We need to encourage them to speak. And just as important, we need students to know each other, so we need to give them opportunities to talk to each other. One way we can do this online through Zoom is we can, for example, use breakout rooms. Now, depending on the age of your students and whether you have parents there or whatever, you can put students into small groups. You can get them to discuss, then you can bring them back into the main room, and then you can get them to explain what they talked about. So it is possible to do this pair work or group work online. I mentioned it earlier, so personalization. This is so important, you know, to get, you know, when students find out about the other students, when they find out about you, the teacher, they become more interested in what's happening and they become more involved in what's going on. So this personalization is so important for generating interest and building rapport. And finally, last thing, we need to give encouragement and praise. It's so important for young learners, but also for adult learners. As you've noticed, as we're going through, I'm reading out your comments, I'm using your names, okay? I'm saying that's a good idea, that's correct. And this, I hope, for you, as it does for me, when I'm observing, okay, when I'm watching a webinar, taking part, if I write something and the speaker comments on it, that, you know, that makes me feel good about the session, and it helps me to enjoy it more and get more involved in the process. Okay, so let's move on to what makes a great lesson. And again, I'm going to ask for a few ideas here. So just into the chat box, let's have a couple of ideas. What do you think makes a great lesson? Just a general lesson, not online, a normal lesson in the classroom. What makes a great lesson for you? RD says a prepared lesson. I absolutely agree. Interactive. Yeah, read the objectives. That's to do with planning. Students learn and achieve. Thank you, Kitty. Eunice says interactive. Games, fun. I used as fun. Engagement. Christian says a clear purpose. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to put some ideas. I've started here, which I don't think anyone put. I'm putting, it's the content. Okay, so the content of the lesson is really the heart of the lesson. We've put, some people have put like quizzes and trivia. So yeah, the content can have quizzes and trivia. It can be fun, but it has to be something that is relevant, something that the students will enjoy learning from. A couple of you mentioned it. So interaction, so important. Okay, getting students involved. Okay, engaging. I put here variety. You've mentioned lots of different things, so we need to make sure that we're not doing the same thing every lesson, that we have a good variety. And finally, I put structure. Some of you mentioned it, you know, teaching to the objectives, okay, planning. Yeah, so these things come under structure. And obviously the teacher is important, but I think for me, these four things are what makes a great lesson. So let's move on and talk a little bit about what makes a great online lesson. So again, any ideas? What would you put in here? What makes a great online lesson? So we talked about a normal lesson. How about a great online lesson? What would you what would you say is an important element here? Joshua says simple. Okay, keep it simple. I think that's a great point, Joshua. Any other ideas? Easy to access. Right. Okay. So something that is, yeah, that's not too complicated, easy to active. Media, interesting presentation, fun, visualization, interesting, clear instructions, interactive. Thank you, Francisca. Okay, so engaging, says Lisa. Right, so let's have a look what I've put here. So I've put here good content, I put interaction, I put variety, and I put structure. So we may disagree slightly about the 4 criteria that we're going to put here, but the point I want to make here is online teaching is still teaching. And at the heart of it, the same concepts need to be applied to make a good lesson in the classroom or a great lesson online. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at some ways we can use digital resources to our advantage to help our students, and something that is simple and easy for students to do and for the teacher. And one of the ways we're going to do that is by looking at an online framework, an online lesson framework. And this is based around structure and around planning and around being prepared. So the structure I'm going to call prepare, teach, connect. And I'm just going to explain a little bit about what I mean. So this is 3 stages to the lesson. The prepare stage, this is before the lesson. So this is an asynchronous stage. And this basically, the teacher is assigning pre-work. So it's homework they do before the lesson to get them ready to take part in the lesson. So when we're teaching online, usually the lessons are shorter. People tend to have a shorter attention span. So we want to make sure that we're spreading the load out, and we want to make sure that when we are in the lesson, the synchronous part, the teach section, we want to make sure that we're focusing on that interactive element. So the prepare stage, we can do things like, you can get them to do the grammar pages, they can watch a video, they could do the reading, they could study the vocabulary, and that's getting them ready to go into the teach section, the synchronous stage, where the teacher can make the most of the time they have. So after we've taught the lesson, nice and interactive, the connect stage, this is another asynchronous stage. So the teacher is going to set follow-up work, it's homework. But it could be some traditional homework, like from a workbook or from an online workbook, but it could also be a task. It could be a real world task where they go out and do something. They could perhaps record themselves talking about what you've discussed in the class. They could do a dialogue. They could make a video. So they could do something like a real world task, which helps them to use the language that they've learned in the lesson. So these are the 3 stages that I'm suggesting. In terms of the online components for prepare, I would suggest that digital components, we could use an ebook to set, for example, the reading or the grammar, and students could do that online. They could do that. They can do that on the ebook. You can also use a website. Our companion websites, the National Geographic Learning companion websites, have all of the video, all of the audio, so you could assign them tasks related around that. For the teach stage, we could also use the ebook. The teacher can use the ebook to deliver the lesson, which I will demonstrate later on, or they could also use the CPT, which stands for Classroom Presentation Tool. I will show you this later on as well. So the CPT is basically an interactive version of the student book, also has the workbook there, and it has all of the audio, all of the video, all of the exercises are interactive, it has games, and it's the perfect way to deliver your lesson online or actually in the classroom. So both ways, it's a perfect way to deliver. For the connect stage, we can use the online workbook. We have 2 different online platforms which we use for have a quick look at Look. So this is the first program we're going to look at today in my examples. So Look is a 7-level series for young learners of English. It's designed for approximately 6 to 11-year-olds, and it's perfect for young learners with short, fresh lessons that are exciting and make teaching enjoyable. As I said, the lessons are a bit shorter than in a lot of other programs, so it is ideally suited to teaching online. I'm going to show you a short video of the CPT. So I mentioned the CPT earlier, and here is a short video to introduce some of the features from the Look classroom presentation tool. It will make your lessons more engaging. It will make teaching easier. As you are watching, I'm going to give you a task, and your task is, I would like you to write down 1 or 2 features that you think look useful. So a feature that you think would help you or your students when you're teaching online, okay? So we're going to watch the video, okay, and afterwards I'm going to ask for your feedback. What feature looks useful to you? Okay, Kitty's just told me that there is no sound. Thank you, Kitty. Okay, you're missing the music. Okay, here we go with the sound. Okay, there we go. So that's the introduction to the classroom presentation tool for Look. So in the chat box, I'd like to see your opinion. So anything you saw there that you think would be useful or beneficial to use while teaching online? Let's see if we can get a few ideas. Kitty says, easy to switch between the student book and the workbook. That's right. You can just toggle between the two. So it's right there. You can swap between the two and show the students what their homework is, for example, or, go through, check the homework. Annabelle says the timer. Yeah, that's really useful having a timer because, it really keeps students focused. So when they know how much time, okay, they're going to make sure that they finish on time. Tiasa says fun activity with the tools. That's right. So there are lots of tools which make your teaching more interactive. You can access the classroom at any time. Yeah, we've got the audio and video. Everything is integrated. Alfredo says basically all of the features are useful. Yeah, I agree. They are all useful. Games and activity, Lisa, that's right. Okay, we've got the audio, we've got extra resources. And Cecilia says this is going to be perfect. Yeah, so all of the tools are right there. It makes it so much easier to teach. You're never searching around, where is the audio, where's the video, where are the answers? You don't need to look in the teacher's book. Okay, everything is there for you. Okay, so it really makes, we talked earlier, someone mentioned that a great online lesson should make it simple for the teacher and the students. So this tool is really going to make it simple for you. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so I'm just, very brief overview, okay, of Look. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through, but just to give you an idea of, so the levels, the CFR levels are here, and an example of the different components that you can get. So we've got things, I mentioned the classroom presentation tool, we've got this online resources, flashcards, online practice, which I'm going to show you later on. So this is the overall big picture for for Look. I've got a question from Eunice. He's asking about the CPT. Will it work for mobile phones? No, you can't. You can't deliver a lesson using the CPT on your mobile phone, only from a computer. But the online, obviously the students who are attending the lesson, they can be on their mobile phone, but the teacher have to be on a computer. The online practice I mentioned, that is mobile accessible. But the CPT, it needs to be on a computer to use that. Okay. So next, I'm just going to show you our companion site. Maybe Kitty, can you put the link into the chat box for us for the Look companion site? So here are some of the highlights, okay, of the companion site. So we've got on the right here, these two columns, we can see these are all of the resources which are available for teachers. So if you're using Look, you will have access to all of these things, including assessment. This is editable. You can make your own tailored assessments. It's got all of these extra resources, homeschool connection letters, which tell the parents exactly what you're studying each week. So it's very clear signposting for them. You've got graphic organizers, games, all of the video, project guides, extra worksheets. So there really is a lot of content, okay, which you can use. Of course, all of these things are downloadable, so you can send them to your students when you're teaching online, either via Word document or by PDF. Over here on the left, the audio and the video, this is what the students can access. So these are the student resources, including all of the video. Okay, so you can assign a video as pre-work, okay, during that prepare stage. Okay, we're going to move on and talk a little bit about Keynote. Okay, so Keynote is a title, it's a 4 skills program for upper secondary, university, or even working professionals. And it has a strong emphasis on presentations and communication skills. Whereas Look is based on National Geographic content, Keynote has National Geographic content and TED Talk content. And it will improve all 4 skills, grammar and vocabulary, as well as tackle explicit and implicit critical thinking tasks. So this is a very brief introduction or overview of Keynote. So the British English course has 4 levels, okay, starting at B1, okay, and going up to C2. So it starts at there is actually an elementary and a pre-intermediate level as well, actually. So sorry, I should have updated this. It's actually 6 levels starting from elementary, again, which I'm going to show you later on. But here are some of the features from each level. So we have 1 TED Talk per unit. We have vocabulary, we have presentation montage, infographics, and authentic listening activities. Here are the components. So it also has the classroom presentation tool, which I will demonstrate. It also has the online workbook. It has an ebook, which I'm going to show you. The ebook actually is fantastic. It has all of the, just like the CPT, it has all of the audio, all of the video, and interactive activities all built in. For the companion site, similar to Look, here are all of the resources for the teacher. So I'll let you have a little look through there. So many different things, placement tests, mid-course tests, end of progress tests. We've got all the reading texts there, which you can edit, the writing materials, the pacing guides. You've got access to all of the video, etc. So there's really a lot of content for the teacher. And these students, for their resources, they have access to all of the videos there, all of the TED Talks. I can see that Kitty has put that into the chat box, so you've got the link. That's great. Okay, so we're now going to have a look at the Prepare, Teach, Connect model, and we're going to look at it using Look. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how we can use this model, Prepare, Teach, Connect. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'm going to swap over. I'm going to do a new share, and we're going to go and have a look at how we can demonstrate this kind of lesson. So if I go over to Look, okay, so here I'm on the companion site, and I'm actually going to go over to the CPT. So I want to imagine that we're in the CPT here, that students have, they've been studying Unit 0, okay, and they've just been, this is level 1, so it's really for 6-year-olds. They've just been looking at colors, okay, and they've been looking at numbers. Okay, so we want to set them some kind of connect task so that they can, help them to consolidate what they've learned. Just while we're in here, let's have a quick activity. So we've just been studying the colors. So can you get your annotate tool for me? I'd like you to get a stamp. Okay, so you can choose a stamp that you would like to use using your annotate tool. And I'm just going to ask you, I would like you, okay, so remember now you are young learners, okay, I would like you to find in the picture, I want you to find something red. Okay, so can you use the annotate tool? I'd like you to click something red. Okay, perfect, there we go. Okay, so we've got a lot of people ticking on something red there. And I'm going to ask you now in the chat box, okay, what is it? What are you highlighting there? What is it? What is it that's red? What can you see? It's a red what? In the chat box, what can we see? It's red, but what is it? Cecilia says it's a lantern. Well done. So it's a red lantern. Perfect. So I'm just going to clear all the drawings. Let's try another one. I'd like you to annotate again. I'd like you to find something yellow. Okay, can you find something yellow? Okay, great. Well done. Okay, so we're all highlighting something yellow. Good. Okay, so this is a nice simple activity we can use with young learners. Okay, they can actually annotate on the screen. So we've done the numbers, the colors, and we've also, I said we're going to do, they've done the numbers. So I want a way that we can practice these. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some questions into the chat box. You can probably see them on my screen now. So I've got these on a Word document. So I'm going to put these into the chat box for you. So we've got 2 questions there. It says, what color are the children's shirts? So we're looking for AJ's shirt, Jessica's shirt, Tracy's shirt, and Amelia's shirt. And we've got how old are the children? So we're going to actually watch the beginning of the video. So as I said, this is Connect. This is homework that I would send to the students. So on top of their normal homework, I'm going to send them this. So we're going to watch a little bit of the video, and I'd like you to answer these questions. So we're looking for 2 things, the color of their shirts and the age of the students. Okay, so please write them down so you can tell me the answers in a minute.
I'm Jessica. I'm Tracy. I'm Amelia.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. So this is actually the video from Unit 1 from Look. So did anyone get it? How about AJ? Can anyone tell me the color of AJ's shirt and how old he is? See if anyone got it. Can you type it into the chat box for me? Okay, well done. AJ is 11 and his shirt was blue. Okay, was it blue or purple? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find AJ. Okay, let's go from here. Okay, there's AJ. So he is 11. Is that blue or purple? Purple. Okay, perfect. Right. How about the next one? So who was next? I think it was Jessica, wasn't it? It was Jessica next. So can anyone type into the chat box for me? How old is Jessica and what color was her shirt? We've got orange for Fitriani, yellow. Okay, and 8. Okay, let's find out.
I am AJ. I'm Jessica.
Okay, there we go. And we can see Jessica, she's got an orange shirt and she is 8. Okay, well done. Next was Tracy. Okay, can anyone remember? Oh, you can kind of see it coming here. What color is the shirt? It's another purple one and she's 11. Okay, perfect.
I'm Tracy. I'm Amelia.
Okay, well done. And Amelia, last of all, what color was Amelia's shirt? Amelia, a brown shirt, and she is 11. Okay, perfect. Well done. So this is an example, something that would be, not too difficult for, for a young learner. It's something that they, their parents can help them find the video. You can send them the link to the video. And then it's something that they can do. And then at the beginning of the next lesson, we can revise. Okay, we can revise what they've done. Okay, so moving on, okay, to the lesson that we're going to look at today. We're going to have a look at a vocabulary lesson. And so this is the content from the lesson, and we can see that it's based around this vocabulary here. So another piece of pre-work. So what we just looked at just now was connect, okay? That was a task to do after they've studied the lesson. But remember, with this technique, we always need to assign 2 pieces of homework. So what I'm going to show you now is the prepare stage, the prepare work that students are going to do so that they're ready to really use this vocabulary here. So I am going to go over to this. So this website, this is the online practice platform. And this is also a learning management system that a teacher can use to assign homework. They can manage their class. They can check homework. Well, homework is checked automatically. They can really manage everything about the students from here. They can generate reports from it. But this is what the student will see. They will see when the teacher assigns them homework, they will see it like this. So let's have a look at lesson 1, which is what the teacher has assigned. So we can see that we've got the vocabulary here. And if we click on this, okay, we've got a ruler. If we click on it,
ruler,
we can see that the student can hear
ruler,
and see, and they can practice repeating the sound. Okay, so it will help them to learn. It's like a flashcard.
ruler,
And if we go through, we can see that all of the vocabulary they need is here.
crayon, crayon,
So look at another one.
pencil,
Okay. So so I would assign this as their prepare work. You could also do some revision work using colors. You could get them to think about the colors. Okay, and then when you've done it, the student gets a nice little reward. Okay, it says it's completed. And then I'm going to show you one more activity. So this I would also assign as pre-work, where they just have to match. So after they've learned the vocabulary, they can match it together. So we can see the student can drag book down to here, and then they can drag bag over there. Okay, and then we can check the answers. So students get immediate feedback. If they get one wrong, let's see what happens. Okay, so it tells them that they're wrong. But when they get to the end of the activity, they can actually see I didn't do very well there, but you can try again. So the student can actually do this as many times as they like. So I'm setting that as pre-work. Okay, so they've done that before the class. Okay, and then when we come into the lesson, they should be ready, okay, to do some fun activities straight away. So we are now going to try some activities. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'd like you to annotate on the screen. Okay, so please get ready with your annotation tool. And I'm going to ask you a question. So I'm going to ask you where is, and I want you to highlight it. Okay, so let's try. So first of all, where is the crayon? Very quick. Okay, we've got a good reaction there. Okay, well done. Perfect. Okay, let's clear the drawings. Let's try another one. Where is the pen? Okay, perfect. Well done. We're going to clear the drawings. Let's try one more. Okay, where is the bag? Very nice. Okay, so remember this is for young learners. Okay, so here we're testing if they understand the word. Okay, so what else can we do? We can do another activity. So let's have a look at another activity that we can do. So we mentioned earlier, a couple of you mentioned the clock. So I'm actually going to go in. I'm going to find the clock, the timer, and I'm going to set it for 1 minute. Okay, now obviously this is useful for time management, but it has another use. Okay, it has another use. So here we've got our vocabulary. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my share, and I'm going to hide one of the words. And now when I resume my share, I would like you to type into the chat box which one is missing. Okay, so which of the items is missing? Okay, you ready? And we'll see who will be the fastest. Okay, who's going to win the prize. So I'm going to start sharing in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so what is missing? So I've taken one of those away. Leah says it's the rubber. And let's have a look. You are absolutely right. Well done, Donald. Okay, as well. You were second. Leah, you were very fast. So the rubber was first. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to eraser. Yeah, so in American English, eraser, in British English, rubber. Let's try it once more. So I'm going to pause again, and I'm going to move it over here. Okay, let's see. And I'm going to start my share again. So 3, 2, 1. What's missing? It's the bag. Perfect. Well done. Who was first there? Who was first? There's so many of you who answered. I can't find it. Cecilia, you were the first this time. Okay. Well done, Cecilia. Congratulations. Yeah. So we can use this actually to play little games. Okay. It's something nice we can do. Let's have a look at another activity. So I said that we just studied colors, so we might want to revise the colors. So I can ask you here, can you tell me, okay, can you type into the chat box, what is orange? Okay, what is orange? And Monica says the crayon. Well done, Monica, you are first. So here we're actually seeing if they can type, if they can spell. Okay, so all of these activities are practicing different skills. Let's try one more. Okay, what can you see that is blue? Monica is first again. The book is blue. I think the bag is red. Okay, well done. Okay, Kitty says the pencil case is also blue. Okay, very nice. Okay, and we are going to do one more activity. I am actually going to show you something on the screen, and I want you to type in to the chat box what I'm holding up, what you can see. Okay, ready? So I'm going to show you something. Okay, so what can you see? What am I holding up here? Christine is first. Well done. Crayons. Okay, well done. So I'm going to put those down. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, what am I holding up in front of me? Okay, perfect. We've got the bag. Okay, well done. A backpack. All right, let's do one more. Okay, what am I holding up here? Can you see it? It's not a pen. It looks like a pen. It's a pencil. Okay, well done, Monica. You got it right. And this is a really nice activity. You know, we can also ask the students themselves. We can hold, if I hold something up, let's say I hold up my pencil, and I can ask you as well. So if you've got your camera on, can you hold up the same thing that I'm holding up? Okay, let's see if any of you can hold up the same thing as me. Okay, so let's see. Can anyone do it for me? I think Monica's having a look. Okay, so we could actually get the students to use this realia in class as well. We could get them to run around and find something, go and find a bag, okay? And then they can come up and they can share on the screen, okay? So these are a few activities that we can do. Okay, so there we go. That's a brief demonstration of what we can do. I want to show you while we're in the CPT, okay, I just want to show you that we can listen to the audio here.
Bag. Book.
Okay, so we've got all of that in there. Okay, if I move across into another lesson, I can show you, I can zoom out, okay, here, and I can just show you that we can actually do the activities. Okay, so we can go in, all of these activities are interactive. Yeah, we've got nice songs in here, and we've also got access to the videos, or the same video I showed you earlier. Okay, so I think at the end of this lesson for the connect stage, okay, what I would want to do for this class, I would want to send them perhaps to do, if I go back to the lesson we were looking at, yeah, I want to direct them to the workbook, so I can show you that here. So they could do the workbook activities as connect work, but we could also get them to do something else. Yeah, we could get them to actually do these pictures, and then they could show them at the beginning of the next lesson, or we could also use the online practice to give them some more practice there. So this would be the third stage. Okay, so I'm going to swap over to Keynote because I'm conscious of the time. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that we can do with Keynote. So let's first of all go and have a look at the, I want to show you the ebook. So the ebook is, we use a platform called Vital Source. And here is a version, here is the Keynote, this is the elementary version. I just want to show you a few things that we can do here. So first of all, the really cool thing about this is that we can actually set assignments. So this is for our, perhaps our secondary or our university students or adult students. I can go in here into assignments. And I can actually, you can see I've made one here. I can set an assignment and I can tell them what to do. And then when I've done that, I can actually send them a link and it will take the student directly to the homework link. It will take them to the right page, it will give them instructions, and then they can get on and do the homework. So it makes it very simple to assign. I'm going to go, I can show you, it's going to take me 1 minute to do, right? So let me just show you how you do that. So if I click on Keynote Elementary, let's say I call it, if I call it week 2, okay, and then I can choose page range, and I'm going to say it's from page 12 to page 13, and I can say read the pages and do all exercises, okay, I can save it. Okay, and then I can just click on the link and I can send them directly so that they can they know what to be doing. All right, so let's go into the ebook and just demonstrate a couple of features of this. So the ebook, as I mentioned earlier, it is completely interactive. So you can see here where we have a red circle. This means it is an activity. So if I click on number 2 here, it just takes a few seconds to load, but we can see I have access to the video.
Track 1.5. Grammar.
Hey, this chart.
And the video, I can make that full screen or I can have it small screen, and I have the answers here, so they can watch the video, they can do the questions, they can choose the answer. And then they can save it and exit. Okay, so you can really get, students can really find this is very interactive. They can save it and come back to it later. I'm going to move out of there. So let's save and exit. I'm sorry, my Zoom windows are in my way. So what else have we got in here? Yeah, as I said, all of the video, okay, all of the audio, okay, and everything, every single activity is interactive. Another nice feature here, this is talking about music. Students can actually make their own flashcards. So I've made these earlier on. So it's talking about genres of music. So I've made a flashcard for classical. So I've put using traditional instruments such as the violin and the piano, Mozart or Bach, etc. So they can actually make their own flashcards, which is really going to help you which is really going to help them to learn new words. Okay, and once they think they've mastered it, if they just click this this icon here, then that will delete it. Okay, and that means they don't need it anymore. So this would be where I'd set the pre-work. Let's go and have a look in the CPT itself. And I'm going to give you some questions, okay, to answer. So we're going to watch a short video. I can do this. Okay, so I'm going to copy them and put them into the chat box. Okay, someone's already done it. Kitty's already done it faster than me. Right, so there are some questions here in the chat box. Do you like the video? What's Joel's job? Would you like to do this job? Which animal photo do you like the most and why? So these are examples of questions that we would send either as pre-work or as connect work. So we're going to watch the video, and I'd just like you to think about some of those questions there, and then I'll get your feedback afterwards. Okay, so let's watch this video about Joel and then get some feedback.
Track 1.2.
My job, my passion, or what I'm trying to explore and share is the fact that we are throwing away the ark, which is my attempt to document as many of the world's captive species as I can before I die. I think photography has tremendous potential in terms of moving people to action. These are pictures that go to work. These are pictures that work every day. Long after I'm dead, these things are going to go to work to save species. My goal is to get people to wake up and say, whoa, that's amazing. What do I got to do to save that? And then they actually do save it. To create a picture that outlasts us. 30,000 pictures a year, minimum. Maybe 3 or 4 keepers. 3 or 4. I got more fingers on this hand than the number of keepers I get in a year, and all I do is shoot pictures, and that's all I've done since I was 18 years old, is take pictures. But boy, those 3 or 4 are pretty good.
Okay, there we go. So this is Joel. I should give a bit of background. He is a National Geographic explorer. He's a photographer. Kitty's put into the link there into the chat box. So what did you think? Did you like the video? Did you like the photos? So put in the chat box. Cecilia says yes. Okay, good. Monica says yes. So yeah, he's you know, a really amazing photographer, taking incredible photos, very inspiring. So by giving this pre-task, by getting students to answer these questions and asking them why, you're really preparing the lesson, okay, so that you can really have you know, a good discussion. As I said, you can put them into breakout rooms, or you can just have an open discussion in the class, and you can really discuss the issues there. So in the lesson, okay, the synchronous part, you're going to go through and do all of these activities. There are some, let me just show you a couple of these. There's some nice activities here. If I zoom in a little bit, I really like this activity where the students are practicing a dialogue, and it's picked out key words and they can actually replace them with synonyms. So they're learning how to use synonyms and how to paraphrase. So they do the activity a few different times, okay, and so the repetition helps to consolidate the learning, but they're also learning different activities, different vocabulary. And then later on, okay, as part of the connect work, I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to be quick here. What we can do for connect is the activities down here, which is basically researching and speaking. We can send them to my ELT. So my ELT is the same as the OLP. It is it's for students to do all their homework, and this is going to be difficult to find. It managed to log me out while, here we go, there's Keynote, while I was talking. So if I go to Keynote, here we go, pre-intermediate, I can go in there. If I go to Unit 1, and if I go to Animals in Danger, we can then go in and we can see some different tasks here. So I will be able to set these tasks as as homework, okay, and I'd also, the teacher will be able to see exactly who's doing the work. So let's just have a quick look at the different type of activity. This is all linked to vocabulary. So they have to go through, and this is drag and drop. Okay, you can see that. Just going to demonstrate a few of the different activity types. So here we go again, it's sentence completion. Here we go, we're going to listen, okay, and then match to different types of animals. So it's all linked to this theme of animals, right? Okay, and then the other thing that I would get them to do from the book here, it asks them to work in pairs and to make notes about an endangered animal. And I would get them to do that for the Connect. So I'd get them to research an animal. I would get them to fill in this chart. I'd get them to be ready, okay, to present or share that information at the beginning of the next lesson. So this would be that Connect stage. Okay, so as I am running out of time, okay, I'm going to go back and just wrap things up, just with a reminder of what we've looked at today. Okay, so the 3 stages, okay, for online teaching: prepare. So we're going to give targeted pre-work. It's a flipped classroom technique. It gets students ready to learn, and it gives us more time in class. The second stage is teach. We're going to check the pre-work. That's really important, because if we don't check the pre-work, students will not do it. And this is the main reason that flipped learning doesn't work or is not successful, because the teacher is not strict enough in making sure the students understand the value of doing the pre-work. So once we've trained our students that they understand that what they're doing is valuable and useful, you will find that they will be happy to do it. But if you set them a pre-task and then you don't check it, they won't do it, and then every lesson you're going to have a problem. So it's really important. Then the synchronous part: teach, discuss, personalize, engage, and motivate. And finally, the connect: it's follow-up work. You're testing them, and you're using or giving them a real-world application. So these are my 3 stages. Okay, so finally, at the end, I'm just going to say one more thing about Keynote. So in Keynote, actually on the companion site, we have these workplace English worksheets, and I'm going to ask Fitri, could you put these could you send the files to the chat box, please? So this is actually it's a lesson based on a TED Talk by Bill Gates. There is a worksheet, there are the answers, and there are teacher's notes. And I'm actually sending this to you, as this is a PD webinar. This would be perfect for you to use in your schools, in your institutions, as a PD exercise. So this actually, it's a whole series of activities which really look at how teachers can improve, okay, as teachers. So we're just sending you this. Thank you, Fitri, for putting that in. Okay, so you should see in the chat box, you can download these, and then you will be able to actually use these with your colleagues. I think you'll find it really useful. These worksheets really for working professionals, but also good for university students. They cover a variety of different industries, but also different departments. So they have specific TED Talks and lessons based around, for example, HR, logistics, but also by industries like tourism, etc. All right. Okay, so I'm a little bit over time, okay, but I'm going to open it up to you and see if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask. So you can either type a question into the chat box, or if you prefer, you can unmute and you can ask a question, and I'll do my best to answer it. So I'll give you a few minutes now. Any questions you have about look? Any questions about Keynote? Any questions about teaching online? Any questions about the classroom presentation tool? Iris telling me to take my time. Okay, so we can extend a little bit. Okay, thank you, Sandra. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll just give you a few more seconds just to see if anyone has anything else they'd like to ask. Gloria has asked, do we have any National Geographic books for kindergarten? Yes, we do, Gloria. We have a couple of different programs. So we have a new program called Look and See, which is, leads into using Look. And Kitty's put here, yeah, we have Welcome to Our World, and we also have Hide and Seek. So we actually have 3 different programs. They're all very interesting. They're all very good. Yeah, Look and See is the one which is designed to sit underneath Look, the program we looked at today. So if you go to our website, you will be able to find detailed information about those. I've got a question here from Jacinta. Most of my students do not have good internet connection or money to buy phone quota. I need to reduce Zoom meetings as much as possible. How can I maintain engagement? Right, okay, so yeah, that obviously that is a serious issue, Jacinta. So there are things you can do to help reduce the bandwidth. So basically, you can't have an online lesson without an online connection. So assuming that they can get online, one thing I would suggest is you really minimize how many things that you're opening at a time. So rather than doing what I did today, you really, if you download the CPT and you have that on your computer, you're not using any bandwidth, and just use that. So make sure everyone has their video turned off. Okay, don't have any other websites on. Tell your students as well to close everything except Zoom, and don't have anything else open. And then by reducing the number of things we have open, that actually reduces the bandwidth. If they can't access the internet at all, I mean, you can't really teach online if they can't get online. I suppose if their internet connection is patchy, perhaps what you could consider doing is you could record the session like I'm doing now, and you can send them a link, which I believe we will send a link to you after this session. So what the students can do then, it's not as good because it's not going to be as interactive, but assuming that then they can, it doesn't matter if they lose connection, they can wait, and then 5 minutes later when the connection comes back, they can continue the lesson, so that you could record it and they could follow the lesson along when their internet is working. So I mean, that's one thing we could do, Jacinta. Let me go down and see if we've got any other questions. Cecilia says, can the teacher have the score detail with the student? Yes, they can. So I think Cecilia, I think you're referring to the online practice or my ELT. So yes, anything that you assign through the learning management system, when the student does it, the teacher will be able to see the score. You'll be able to see what they got wrong, right and wrong. You will also be able to see how much time they spent doing those activities. And you will also be able to print off reports showing you which, for individual students and for the class. So you will have all of the details you need for all of those activities that you set for them to do online. So it will really make your life easier. You'll never have to do any marking again. So that's something that will really be useful for you. In terms of the book itself, so if it's the ebook, the teacher can't see that. Okay, so the teacher can see the answers for the online practice, my ELT, but not for the ebook. Okay, for the ebook one, that's only the student can see it. Let's see if we've got any other questions. Yeah, so yeah, Monica says the resources are locked. They are locked. So the resources are for schools that use the programs. So if your school is using Keynote or Look, then we will supply you with the login information, but it's not something that we just give to the general public, and it's not something that we sell separately. So it is for teachers. All of these resources are for teachers that are using the programs. Centura says, can we have the PDF of the explanation? I'm not sure what what the explanation, what you mean there, Sintua, but I think we are going to, I think we can probably arrange to send the PDF of the slides that I've used today. So I think we can arrange to send those to you. So yeah, we will aim to send you the PDF for the slides as well as the link to the recording. Okay, and Nova says, I assume Keynote is for adult. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nova. So I used a slide, I put the slide in, I noticed that the slide was a bit out of date. So actually, Keynote actually starts from an elementary level. So it starts from an A1 to A2 level. So Keynote has an elementary level, a pre-intermediate level, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced, and proficiency. So it's fine for all levels, actually. So I'm sorry, that was my mistake. Yeah, so Keynote starts from elementary. Okay, I'm just checking, is there anything else? The login includes assessment. Yes, so the assessment I talked about is on the assessment. We have several different types. We have general kind of assessment that you can just print off. We also have a special assessment piece of software called ExamView, and the ExamView software is very powerful. It basically, you can select which units and which, so if you're, for Keynote, for example, if you just want to make a grammar test for units 1 to 4, you go in, you click a few buttons, you can select the grammar points you want, and then it actually generates a test for you, which you can edit, or you can just print, or you can send as a PDF for your students to do. So that ExamView software is very, very powerful and really will make your life easier as well. Dewi or Julie, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name, says, how can I be sure my students are learning? Well, the main way is you're going to check through assessment. So assessment becomes more important, and the online practice that I showed you is really important because you can see their results for every single activity. So by encouraging them to do the activities online, the teacher can then see, and you can see their results. So if they're doing well, they're learning, and if they're not doing well, they're not learning. So yeah, I think when we're teaching online, assessment and formative assessment, like I did earlier when I was showing you the CPT, like asking what is red, what is blue, you know, this kind of formative assessment also helps you to gauge that students are learning. Okay, just flicking down, let's see if there are any other questions that we've got. I think Kitty's been answering questions as well, so thank you, Kitty, for doing that. Okay, I think probably I'm going to leave it there. So thank you very much to everyone for attending today. Thank you to Kitty for helping me out. Thank you to Fitri. Okay, thank you to Arif as well for having us. And I'm going to hand it back, okay, to Arif and see if there's anything you would like to say at the end.
Okay, thank you very much, Will. It gives us a lot of insight. And hopefully this webinar will be able to be applied in our classroom. So before we're leaving the webinar, please help us with fill in the evaluation or the feedback form that we are going to share you in a bit. And also for everyone that okay, Kadek, could you please help to put the link on the chat, inside the chat form? So you may able to get the link for the evaluation or the feedback form inside the chat. So if anyone of you that really interesting also with the products, you may contact us, Pinnacle Alfa Edukasi. And some of you that need some trial, you may leave your request in the chat box so we are able to contact you later on. Ibu Fitri, need something? Do you have something to?
Just would like to ensure that everyone will fill in the feedback form. Please fill in the feedback form so that I can get your email addresses, So later I can send you the follow-up email, including the links that Will mentioned in this webinar. And then also, if you would like to request trial accounts for the online practice, online workbook, or the ebook, you can request to me. So you just reply my email later. Okay, thank you.
So
Thank
please
you.
have your time. Yeah.
So can I just say something, Arif? And yeah, I'd just like to say as well that we have lots of other webinars that we're doing every week at the moment, and we have lots of recorded webinars on our website. We have a blog, a PD blog, so lots of resources you will find on our website. Please go on to Facebook and like us there as well. And yeah, I hope to see you again in another session like this. Okay, sorry, Arif, back to you.
Yes. So while we are having, we are filling out the feedback form, Kade will also play the video for looks and keynote, so we are able to look at the overall of the products. So after you fill in and then you've done, thank you once again. Thank you for coming and join this webinar. Hopefully you will have a good long weekend, and goodbye.
Keynote is a 6-level integrated skills series that enables learners to develop the confidence and skills needed to express their ideas powerfully in English. TED Talks inspire communication by bringing ideas worth spreading to the classroom.
But what do you do in neighborhoods when ain't nobody interested in living there? That the people who have the means to leave have already left.
Ideas that they will want to discuss. And Keynote helps them do this in English. Each unit of Keynote helps learners develop an understanding of one fascinating idea through authentic language input and real-world content from a TED Talk, a specially recorded video interview, an engaging infographic, and a thematically linked reading passage. Each unit starts with a TED Talk that introduces the main idea. In the first lesson, useful words and phrases learners will need to talk about the main idea of the unit are taught and practiced. Unique listening sections come alive through authentic interviews and profiles with real people from around the world, including musicians, students, journalists, and National Geographic explorers. Specially created for Keynote, learners both listen to and watch these engaging examples of authentic language.
My favorite time to take photographs is right before sundown, when the light is very soft. This is one of my favorite photos. I took it when I was in Batanes, an island in the Philippines, photographing indigenous cultures.
Language-focused sections feature an infographic which provides a real-life context for key grammar points. Students listen and watch as the grammar is presented in context. The unit grammar is explicitly presented in a chart and further reinforced in the grammar summary section at the end of the student book. A reading helps learners deepen the understanding of the main idea, develops reading strategies, and teaches valuable critical thinking skills. The TED Talk pages at the end of the unit use carefully selected segments of the TED Talk to reinforce vocabulary, practice listening comprehension, and apply critical thinking skills. Using TED speakers as models, presentation skills sections guide learners to watch and know best practices speakers use to deliver their ideas. This montage features a series of TED speakers effectively using visuals. The last page consolidates the language and ideas of the unit through a collaborative, communicative task and a controlled writing activity. After every 3 units, Presentation pages review the presentation skills presented in the previous units and guide learners to apply those skills as they create and deliver their own presentations. Keynote inspires learners to communicate ideas powerfully in English. For more information, visit ngl.cengage.com/keynote.
National Geographic explorer Shabana Bazig Rasik is an amazing person. She believes that girls should have the same chances as boys. They should be able to go to college and have good jobs and become leaders of their country, just like men.
But some things are the same in space. The astronauts get up in the morning and they brush their teeth.
My favorite town is called Bodrum. My mum is from Bodrum. It's beautiful.
Wow, it is beautiful.
It is next to the Aegean Sea. Look at the water. It's so blue.
Phonemic awareness, I hear words. Phonetics, I express words. Vocabulary, I know words. Reading comprehension, I know what it means. Literacy, I can read a book. These are all skills that Highlights Library develops by promoting children's confidence and love of reading and writing in English. Highlights Library is a multifunctional reading platform offered by Highlights in alliance with University of Dayton Publishing, with more than 2,000 stories and ebooks for different ages, interests, and English levels. Kids have fun and are happier when they use their innate creativity, curiosity, and imagination for learning. That's why the Highlights Library's learning experience is so fulfilling. The platform includes audios, evaluations. Highlights Library promotes social-emotional skills such as friendship, trust, honesty, responsibility, resilience, and empathy. Known for being very easy to use, friendly with children and adults, in addition to being able to use it from any device and from anywhere, Highlights Library is the best ally for English teaching through reading. What are you waiting for?